Jaime with Inky and Scrappy, back with a new card today. We are going to, okay, I figured out how to do this one with the cuts, and so I thought we'd walk that one through in real time. So it's kind of, I think it's like a stepped easel card or something like that. I'm sure there's a better name for it. I will probably find it before I upload it. But ultimately, it's just using one sheet of paper, and it's just cutting it and folding it and scoring it in different spots to get the look you want. So I do have this one. I will pop a picture of it up on my face. No, I was gonna say Instagram, but I'll probably put it into my Let's Start Stamping series over on my blog at InkyandScrappy. So if you need the picture, it'll be there. And this is the best I can do for you. Chicken scratches and all. I did add some notes onto the back for myself for mats and other types of those types of things. So ultimately we're going to start with an A2 card base, and we're going to start with our cut lines. So this one here we're going to cut at from 5.5 inches down to the 1 1/4 inch. An inch and a quarter in from the side. Now the sides, you can change the width if you want. Just make sure you're going equal amounts this way on both sides, or you could have, I guess, offset if you wanted to, so you could have this one bigger depending upon what your images are. Does that make sense? So right now I have them at 1 1/4 inch, but I could go down to like I wouldn't go less than 1/2 inch on the sides. And you could do, you know, narrower in the middle, those types of things. And then the other thing is your steps, right? So as long as your step here is the same width as your step there, it should work. I don't know if I would play with that one a whole lot, just because I'm not that comfortable with it yet, but I know the possibilities are out there. So we'll get started and I'll walk you through what I do. So for this one, I'm going to use my slide one. It's just going to be easier. If you don't have a slide one and you only have a guillotine, you're going to need a ruler and a scissors probably, or an X-Acto knife. So for this one, I'm going to start with 1.5 inches, and this one has the ruler here. So if you don't have a ruler here on your cutting mechanism, you're going to want to do some measurements. So I'm going to start at that 1.5 inches, and this one's going to be backwards for me. So this one starts at 12.5. So 11.5 would be 1 inch, and so 11.25 is going to be the cut mark on this one. And then I'm going to cut that all the way down to, I need 1.25 inches on my bottom one here. Oh wait, that's wrong. Let's see, I'm going up from the other side. I'm working it backwards. We're going the other way. Okay. Still working it backwards, but no, this way we can work it the right way. Let's see. Used to doing this one better. Okay, so 1.5, so 1 1/4, 1 1/4, and we're gonna poke our blade in there, and then we're gonna go from 1 1/4 all the way up to the 5.5 inch mark. So right here, we're going to go to 5.5. And the Tim Holtz one has the nice little arrow that shows you exactly where you're going to be. If you don't have that arrow, cut less. You can always add more. You can never take back. And then I'm going to flip it just because it's going to be easier, but you could definitely go like this way with it and cut from, what did we do? What did I figure? 3 inches. I mean, I can do it this way. We'll do it this way. 3 inches down to 7 1/4. And that way your cuts are going to be like the indent of them is going to be the same. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's like when you die cut and you have the bevel, and then the other edge is like raised or sharper. That's kind of the same kind of what I'm getting at there. You're going to want a scoreboard for this one. If you don't have a scoreboard, finding a nice, like the Tim Holtz one has the score that cuts, that can interchange with the blade. So you can definitely do that. And then we're going to score this one just to the cut line from 1 1/4 inches. And then if you feel comfortable down here, I do not feel comfortable doing it down there. So either flipping it this way and doing it from 7 1/4, or you can even flip it the back side, flip it this way and do it from your other end, and it'll work out just fine. And then since I'm here, I'm going to do another one. I want to do another 1 1/4 up, so I'm going to go to the 6 inch mark on this side, which means on this side we're going to do that 2 1/2 inch mark. And if you draw with your line eye, you can see that it's going to go all the way across. And then at this one, we're going to go at 4 1/4 inches. This is where it gets sketch for me. I need a ruler. So if you come in with the ruler and you find that 4 1/4 inch line, this just makes it a little bit easier to find in the middle of no man's land. If you work with a sketchboard or a scoreboard, you will understand my struggle. It is real, y'all. Okay, so there's my line there, and then for this one, we're going at the 5 1/2 mark. And then you can definitely find it down here. If you have a ruler, that'll work fairly quickly, or you can flip it like I flip it and then score it at the 3. And then, so it doesn't look too difficult. You have just a few cuts and some extra score lines on there. I think there's a die out there. I don't know for sure. I don't have it. I don't plan on getting it. This is one that's not too difficult. The mats are probably more difficult on this one than the actual scoring is. So I just slowly work my creases. Mountain, valley, mountain, mountain, and then we have our card base done. And it should fold flat. So this will fit in an A2 size envelope. We have 4 1/4 inch. It ends up being 4 1/4 inches tall and 5 1/2 inches wide. All right, so we have that part done. Now is for the cuts on our mats, which I think are probably a little bit more challenging. At least they were both for me when I was mathing and trying to figure out my fold. So for this one, we're gonna go at 4 inches to start. I'm gonna go 4 inches wide, and then 5 1/4 inches long. So this is going to give that nice 1/8 inch border all the way around the outside. At least that's what my plan is. And now for this one, we're going to go cut at 1 1/4 inches down to 1 inch. So 1 1/4 inches wide. And we're going to cut, so this is 4, so we're going to cut down to the 3. And then we're going to do that on this side, but we're going to start at the 1, so 1 1/4. We'll start at the 1. There's the 1. And then we're going to go all the way up. And then we're going to go this way with it and we're going to go to that inch mark. And we'll start at that 1 1/4 tick on this one and work that way. And then the 1 1/4, well, the 4-inch mark, and then finish it this way, and that should pop out those 2 pieces. Now keep in mind we can use these on our side panels here. We're just going to want to trim. If you want them to be flush, they'll work perfectly like as is, but if you want that little bit of a border, then you're going to want to trim those up just a teeny tiny little bit. And I'm going to want those borders, so I'm going to bring in the other one because I can't do it on this one. They get too small for me. So this one here will fit right like that. And you can do a similar one for the inside if you want. I'll show you how I finished mine up on the inside. This will do that one. We'll cut these 2 down, and then I need to, you can do a 1-inch square on those if you want. You don't need to. That one is totally up to you. I'm going to bring in the guillotine. I struggle with those really small cuts on that one, which you can definitely, you know, I have them sitting right here, and so you can definitely use a Post-it to help guide you if you need. Look, I'm knocking things off of shelves and throwing them in the garbage because the garbage is right there. Not me. Okay. So this is a trick that my friend Kate taught me. Thank you, Kate. Just lining it up. So you want to make sure that it's flush with your sticky note here, or even that it's just off of said sticky note. And it just helps you hold that piece of paper so you can get your 1-inch cuts or smaller. So if you need like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 of an inch, this will help allow that to happen. And then cut this one. This one should be at 3, and we're going to go at 2 3/4. Okay. And then we'll do the same for this one. This one down to that inch. And then two 3/4. Now for the inside piece, I was going to say I have some extra ones here, so let me cut this one down to 1 inch. So 2. So for my inside cuts, you could definitely kind of do that same thing, figuring this is 1 1/4 inch. So making that cut 1 inch down, and then 1 inch and a 1/2 in maybe. So you're gonna have, but I just did for mine, I just did a block of paper up on top there, and then I did so just took this piece and laid it in here. So this one is, and you don't have to do pattern paper, you could definitely just do a single mat there and not a double mat like I'm gonna do. This one is 2 3/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna cut that to 4 inch. Well, we can do the whole thing tall, right? But I'm gonna do it to, how wide is this one? This one, well, it's already cut there. So this one needs to be 5 1/2, so 5 1/4. I can't math it. I was gonna cut it from the wrong way. So that will be the inside piece here, and then I'll just do another matte on top of that for my sentiment. And then this piece here, so this is what's left, right? So this one is probably wide enough. It's a little on the long side. So if you wanted to do a second matte up top to finish it up, you could definitely do that. You could do a little image up here if you wanted to, which I might end up doing a bigger sized hot dog on this one. We'll see. So I think that's the gist of all of the cuts that we need for this one. This one, let me see if I have it on this one. So I did an inch by 2 3/4 for this little piece up here, or you can do an 1 1/4 by 3 inches, and that's going to cover that whole area like I did on this one. So it just fills in that whole area there. You don't have to do it that way. That's just how I did it on mine. So, but I also thought it would be fun to even just doing, if you're on a white, mine is a red metallic cardstock, so it doesn't take ink very well, and so I can't stamp right on it, but you could definitely just do some stamped images up there, which would be really cute, and then add some stamped images on your little sides here as well. I just added, you know, you wouldn't need those. I just added extra little pizzazz there. So we have that one all cut, and we can just assemble. I've already colored my images today to save some time, and I forgot how much I love just sitting and coloring images and not coloring them on camera. It was like, I don't know, I don't have to worry about being in screen. I don't have to talk. I just get to color, try new things, not worry about any of the things. I might go back to doing a little bit more of that in general. I love watching coloring, and so that's why I try to include it, but I also realize that I enjoy just coloring and not thinking about it so much. And these ones don't really matter where we go, do they? No. Okay, so the last one I like tried to make sure I lined them all up and did all the things. So technically this one's over here, and it's still, you can't really tell, to be honest. So this one, you can lay it flat. You're going to see where your score lines are anyways, and then just trying to center them into those pieces. And I went old school and went with the tape runner on this one. More because my paper was a little bit thinner, and I was afraid that I was going to end up having some warpage, especially with that metallic cardstock. And so I went, and if it didn't work out, it's easier to pull off. And you can do like multiple different colors of cardstock for this one. Like, don't feel like you have to use one pattern paper on it. You could switch up all of those to have different patterns on it. You could do backgrounds on it, you know, if you want to do a scene. I think that would be really cute. The girl that said it doesn't matter, she futzes with all the things. That's how I roll. Okay, and then this one I'll tack onto the inside. I have one of those. I can cut this one too. I'm just gonna cheat since I since I have the scraps, I might as well use said scraps. Okay, so for this one on the front, I stamped and colored, I think this is Girlfriend from MFT Stamps. It's like a smaller stamp set. Do you think I know where it currently is located? No. I mean, it's here somewhere. It's under the pile of things on my desk. Okay, here we go. See, I just used it. So yes, this one is Girlfriend from MFT. And I cut it with the Brother Scan and Cut, and I didn't make a little line, but it decided, the Brother Scan and Cut decided that there was some invisible marks on my paper that I didn't know existed, because it did some funky cuts. But ultimately, I'm just going to clean those up a little bit. Some bumps on there. I don't know. Shadows. It's my ghost. That's all I got. So this one, I'm going to come in and tuck that one in here. Just so when it's closed, you can see the whole grill. I think on the original, I'd like put it down further, and then I realized that when it's closed, you just saw like the top, and I didn't like that. And because I'd used tape, I could just peel it up and undo it. So here we have our grill. I'm gonna wait with her until I get my sentiment on the bottom, but I need to even it out on the other side. And I colored and cut a hot dog out that I can't find. So let's find our sentiment paper, and we will do the sentiment while I'm in search for said hot dog. I must have ate it. I am bringing in the long weekend stamp set from Ink Roads Stamps for my sentiments on this one. So you look like the 4th of July. It makes me want a hot dog real bad. Makes me want to watch Legally Blonde real bad. Okay, for this one, I just need a little skinny strip. We're going to try to stamp it on with some white, I think. I haven't decided how far over. I think I can squeak it on here, but that's a really small cut. So I think we're going to go over this way. I'm going to do it towards the center. I want to be able to kind of measure out where I'm going to be eventually here. Give myself some wiggle room on both ends. And we are going to come in with Tailored Expressions Sugar Cube White Pigment Ink Pad. It has been my favorite for doing white text inking. Ooh, I got a little juicy over there in the corner. Oh, I pressed too hard. Oh well, you know what that means? We have two sides. I got a little overzealous with my ink pad. Work with this one. I need it to be, you know, about 5 inches wide, and it can be shorter, so that's fine. We're gonna try it with the Sugar Cube ink pad. I tried it once already and it didn't work the greatest. I think it's just a really finer, I think it might be the stamp on this one. It's stamped fine in black, but that white pigment is just a little bit more, not pressing too hard. Just that was what my issue was. I put too much pressure to it the first time. And I'm gonna do a second inking here really lightly, and then just coming in and going very gently with the pressure. And I got a lot better image. I'll show you what my first one looked like. See, it just wasn't the greatest. I overpressed here where it got squished it all out and just kind of went it. And so being very gentle with your white, I did a little bit here, but for the most part this one looks a lot better than that one, so I'll keep this one. And so then for this one we're gonna do that thing that I threw on the ground that went crash earlier, we'll bring that one back in. Okay, so for this one, I know I want it at about 5 inches. I was gonna say, I was trying to measure from here, so about a quarter of an, I mean, we're gonna have to go all the way this way and hope that it's mostly centered. And then for this one, I just want to kind of make it we're gonna make it fit on here. I was gonna say as small as I can get it and hope for the best. Alrighty. I think we're good. And we could definitely make it shorter if you wanted to make it shorter. I think I'm okay with it being like this. I'm going to come in with glue because I don't want to. Oh, maybe I should trim it just a little bit because then it will look centered a little bit better, huh? We're just going to do a little snippy snip. Ultimately, we know that this piece is 1 inch wide by 5 1/4 inches long. So this one being 3 1/4, we're going to probably want this one to be 4 3/4. Right? Yeah, because originally I had it at 5. So that's probably the best. But you could do a wider one as well. I think my other one was a little bit wider. But I wanted that on first because I know my little girl is kind of tall and she's going to have to overlap the bottom of that sentiment panel just a little tiny bit there. We will add her. I smeared it. It wasn't dry yet. Shh. I'll fix that later after it's dry. I love how my hair turned out on these. And my pleats in the dress. Or the apron. I struggle with those. Anyways. I need a hot dog. So I pulled in the little hot dog from Let's Barbecue from Lawn Fawn. There was a lot of options, but I wanted the hot dog to go with the sentiment. You look like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. So we'll add the hot dog onto the other side just to kind of even it out. And then for the inside piece, I'm going to use this blue one. And I think we can go, what was our original one? So 5 1/4 by 2 3/4 would be my original mat. And so this one I can have it at 5 inches by 2 1/2. Okay, we're going to cheat it a little bit because it's quite 2 1/2. So what did we end up doing? 2 and a little bit. So I'll just take a little bit off this way, and that way our borders will be about the same. So when I give you amounts for your, mats, you can wiggle them a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. It's up to you. And then I need my sentiment for this one is going to be It's a bad day to be a hot dog, but so I'm going to do it down a little bit because I liked the Hey Girlfriend on the, from the little girl. Or we could have a smoking birthday underneath it, or you're the barbecuelist, or, I flip and love you. A friend like you is rare, but That won't go with hot dog because I won't eat a rare hot dog. Ew. I am very picky on my hot dogs. I will only eat the local butcher ones. I'm not a very picky hot dog eater. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the VersaFine Onyx Black for this part of my sentiment. And we will stamp that one on there. And then I'll pull that one out. And my other one's still on my stamp platform from my last card. Don't fall down and go boom as everything falls down and goes boom. I'm going to bring in that Hey Girlfriend and center that one. Pop that one here. Let me grab. I'm going to go with a ruby colored ink for this one. Press that one down, and then all we have left to do is pop this one onto the inside, and then I will cut out another hot dog. I think I'll do the big one that comes with the long Weekend stamp set. Throw that one on the top there. So all we have left is to put a little hot dog, or the bigger hot dog. You could definitely do a littler hot dog. And put the hot dog up there. Center it. And that will finish up the rest of my cards. Oh, I have to fix this, right? So we're going to come in with the sand eraser. Kind of, as long as it's dry, it'll buff off a little bit better. If you wanted to make your white a little bit whiter, I'd say I want an 8 out of 10. Oh, I botched it over there too. Patience is a virtue. I don't have a lot of it. Okay. And there we go. You could definitely add a couple of little stars or gems to the corners. Let's do that like, you know, I might have a few. Shaker bits. In honesty, I think I have like 3 or 4 of these because I ordered a big thingy from Amazon. Don't ask. I think they're called like fake. I think they were called like fake cupcake sprinkles or something like that. Like fake cake sprinkles. Yeah. And so, you know, we can't order just... I ordered one thing, but it was huge. But I thought it'd be fun for like shaker mixes. And I liked the white stars. It was uber cheap last year. Do I want the little flags? We'll do a couple of flags. I need some stars. Okay. There we go. So there, we finished that one up. So just a kind of fun fold with, you know, all the things. So a cute little 4th of July card. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will put and I would suggest doing a copy first and then writing on it. It'll help. This is actually my second copy because my first one was a hot mess. Not gonna lie. So it doesn't always necessarily, well, okay, I didn't cut the first one. I wrote the first one, and yeah, you can see I was just like, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So once I actually did it, it just went a lot better. So I think I found it online and the measurements online were not correct. And so when I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Keep getting inky, and we'll see you next time. Bye.